Contrary to what your law professor may have told you, Gibbons versus Ogden is not merely about the Commerce Clause. It's about jealousy and revenge over a man's wounded pride and reputation. Aaron Ogden counseled the wife of Thomas Gibbons in divorce proceedings against him. Then, Ogden had Gibbons arrested for fraud of a banknote. After that, Gibbons made it his life mission to destroy Ogden. Gibbons challenged Ogden to a duel to reclaim his honor, but Ogden refused. As a result, Gibbons had no other avenue for revenge but to challenge Ogden's business interests. Ogden was licensed by the state of New York to operate steamboats. The New York license purported to give Ogden the exclusive right to operate steamboats in New York waters. Gibbons pursued and obtained a similar license from the federal government. Gibbons used the federal license to compete with Ogden in the same water route that Ogden was using. In an attempt to protect his monopoly license, Ogden sued Gibbons in the New York Court of Chancery. Ogden sought an injunction that would stop Gibbons from operating his steamboat in New York waters. Gibbons argued that he was allowed to operate his steamboat in New York waters by an act of Congress which regulated coastal commerce. The chancellor disagreed with Gibbons and granted the injunction. On appeal, the Court of Errors affirmed. The question on petition to the United States Supreme Court was whether a state law is invalid if the law infringes on Congress's authority to regulate interstate commerce. The court held that Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce, and that under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, commerce includes navigation among the several states. As a result, a conflicting state law is trumped by the supremacy of Congress's authority to regulate interstate commerce. Chief Justice Marshall explained that Congress may regulate commercial activity when the commerce includes more than one state. The court emphasized that Congress cannot regulate the exclusively internal commerce within a state, but the navigation of steamboats from one state to another falls under Congress's power to regulate interstate commerce. After concluding that Congress has the power to regulate navigation between two states, the court concluded that any attempt by New York or any other state to regulate the operation of commercial steamboats must yield to Congress's law under the Supremacy Clause. Here, New York's monopoly grant of a license to Ogden conflicted with the federal grant of a license to Gibbons. The court reversed the judgment of the New York Court of Errors and ordered that Ogden's lawsuit against Gibbons be dismissed. Justice Johnson wrote a concurrence articulating an even broader understanding of the Commerce Clause. Johnson argued that the New York grant of a monopoly license to Ogden would be invalid even without a conflicting federal license. Johnson reasoned that the framers intended to give Congress the exclusive authority to regulate interstate commerce, which completely excluded state regulation of interstate steamboat navigation. Gibbons versus Ogden was the first Supreme Court case to interpret the meaning of the Commerce Clause. Through its broad interpretation of that clause, the court set the stage for a significant expansion of the powers of federal government.